Titles, go.
Dookie Drop.
Cozy Gaming.
Green Beer Sunday.
Is that something you drink or eat with a spoon? Anyway, McMahon all over it.
I'm Sauce Gardner.
Monkeys are in my zoo.
Pick a fucking lane.
Them monkeys can kick.
Tesla, fart mode. But it's, I lost my watch.
Just blew the joke, Jack.
Seriously, Green Beer Sunday. Is it something you drink or is it like, ice cream and shit?
I know what the cover image is going to be for this episode.
Oh, please, God, no.
Let's do this.
Oh.
Warning. What you are about to hear contains explicit language, adult themes, and potentially disturbing content. The views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts and do not reflect the opinions of anyone else, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. This podcast is intended for an immature audience and should not be listened to by anyone, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. You know, fuck it. You've been warned.
Hello, welcome to this week's edition of Geek Pod. I'm your host, Paul.
I'm Hugh.
I'm Kev.
This meeting is being recorded. Leave meeting. Oh, I'm Jack. Bye.
Guys, what's got you geeked?
Well, besides the new setup with the new microphone and earbuds, which, by the way, these have failed on me several times, so I may cut out and have to switch back to the old ones. But right now, everything's working. I'm excited about the new setup, but I'm more excited, and of course it's a month late because it's been so long since we recorded. My wife's cover reveal for her book, The Skeleton Flute, happened while we weren't recording, and that's awesome. The cover is fantastic. The book is available for pre-order now at anywhere you go. I mean, you can go on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, all of the places you buy books. It's on Goodreads, so go ahead and add it to your list. Please add it to your list.
What was the title? Skin Flute? What?
Dude, you can pick on me. Don't pick on my wife's book. Come on.
Come on!
But no, it's a really exciting time. She's actually getting a copy of the jacket. It's going to arrive tomorrow. So she's going to have not the book, but the book jacket, for her approval.
Nice.
And it's really exciting. So
I'm buying 2 copies.
Oh, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right
Please,
now.
buy two. And she'll sign it for you. And yeah, she's agreed. Anyone that pre-orders, she's going to sign it. If we can't get together, she's getting book plates to sign and mail out. So
Nice.
she definitely wants to thank everyone that supports this. And I think we've talked about it on air before, but pre-orders are the most important thing ever in this situation. So please pre-order the book if you can. It means more to pre-order it than it does to get it after it comes out. So, but yeah, cover. I'm sure Paul will grab a picture of it and throw it in the show notes if we still have show notes.
We still have show notes.
He said you started actually doing it, but I've never bothered to check, so I don't know.
Just pre-ordered 2.
Thank you, Kevin. Jack,
are they hardcover or softcover?
They're hardcover.
Hardcover, yeah. I got the physical books.
Jack, did you buy it?
It's like I feel like I'm in Willy Wonka. It's like, how many Wonka bars did I order? Not yet, but I will buy it.
Jack,
You'll notice he's not asking me because he knows I did it the day it dropped.
You're buying me a copy?
No, I'm never buying you anything, Jack.
But I will support your wife, Hugh. Not you, but I'll support her.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
But that's it. That's what's got me geeked.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
All right, I'm going to go next.
Sure.
Since winter has turned into a freaking shit show and we're actually having summer and winter, I am planning all my motorcycle rides, and I have got 3 amazing rides planned, 2 anyway, possibly 3. I've got a ride in April and I've got a ride in May. April in Georgia with some very good friends of mine that I've been riding motorcycle with, snowmobile with for a couple years now, and just great guys. A little older than I am, been riding for a long time. Great riders. Georgia's going to be in oh god, I just forgot the name of the location. But it's this beautiful area. It's a lot of dirt roads, a lot of forest roads. And there's cabins they stayed in last year. We may stay in a cabin. We may stay in a little bit more of a hotel kind of thing, just to be a little closer to population for like food and dinners and stuff. And we're gonna ride out of there every day. And then in May, the wife and I are gonna go and do the MABDR. So I told you last year we did the NEBDR, the Northeast Backcountry Discovery Route. Did that with a bunch of friends. Had a great time. The MABDR, Mid-Atlantic BDR, is it starts in Pennsylvania, goes a little bit further west through the mid states, and it's very easy stuff. But Kathy rides a Riker. She rides a 3-wheeled vehicle, 2 wheels in the front, 1 in the rear. She won't be doing the dirt roads. She'll be doing paved roads, and she's going to parallel my course. So we've been looking at the course, and she knows where we have to be at the end of the day, and we're going to communicate enough so that maybe I'll do 2 sections in a day, and I'll let her know, and she can just go on to the next town or whatever. So her only responsibility is to ride, be safe, and get to our endpoint and find us a room.
Nice.
That's it. That's all she has to do. And I'm just gonna ride and be safe and have a good time. And we get to the room, and we're gonna, stay together and have dinner together and have breakfast together. And I'll go on my dirt ride, and she'll go on her pavement ride, and we'll meet at the end of the day, or maybe even meet in the middle of the day, all depending on how it goes. She won't have as long a ride as I do, because the way the BDRs work is they wind back and forth and up and down and do all this crazy stuff. And she can do whatever she wants on the pavement, and hopefully she'll find some cool stuff to see along the way. And we've been kind of looking at that, kind of see what there is to see and do. So she'll get the chance to do some of that. She's very excited for it. Not at all worried about being alone and doing this. So the way we're going to be in contact with each other, we don't really think that's going to be a problem. If one of us has an issue, we should be able to find each other and help out or do whatever we got to do to self-rescue. We'll park the truck and trailer somewhere in Pennsylvania, which is where we're starting, and it shouldn't be too bad to get back and get it. If something really bad goes on, like, I don't know, an engine blows up, or the whole rear end of a freaking machine falls out, which I really don't think that's going to happen. But you got to plan for that stuff, right? You got to plan for the worst and hope for the best. What I found out just recently, though, was there's an event in April, from April 3rd to the 7th, and this is the week before the week I'm going to be in Georgia, which is April 7th through the 12th. So this event in Kentucky, Tellico Plains, not Kentucky, Tennessee, sorry. Tellico Plains, Tennessee, from the 3rd through the 7th, is this great off-road adventure riding thing where a bunch of people get together and they eat and drink and ride. You don't drink before you ride all day, and then you come back and you eat and drink, whatever, have fun at night. But there's this great event. It's called March Madness, down in March Moto Madness, whatever the hell it's called. So I'm thinking right now, I'm like thinking to myself, maybe I go to that for a few days. The 7th was going to be a travel day anyway, from New York to Georgia. Well, what if I'm already in Tennessee, and I just, on the 7th, I just like, all right, yeah, I rode a little bit, just I'm done. Now I go from Tennessee to Georgia instead of New York to Georgia. So now I'm planning this 3rd ride, and it looks like it's just going to be a great time. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. So it's going to be a good spring, going to be a good summer, I think.
Nice.
That's cool. So pretty cool. Like this past weekend was Green Beer Sunday, and on Tipperary Hill, I am proud to say I've been there probably 20 years in a row now. So yeah, my dad and I, it's something we do together. So it's a father and son thing. So it's kind of nice to do that. So literally we're in Green Beer Sunday, we're watching the parade, having a couple beers. My buddy has a house up on Tip Hill. He bought it like 15 years ago. My brother's friend became my friend. Dude, he's just sitting on like a gold mine. He lives upstairs and he rents out to the people down below, pays his mortgage, and it's just paid off. And he has like 3 properties. So we are watching the parade. We see the tankard come in. I see my dad. And he's knowing everybody. He's the mayor. He knows everybody. So he starts walking into the road a little bit. I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? He's like, it's okay. It's okay. I'm like, okay. So he walks behind the tankard and then he's just looking in the air. I'm like, okay, Dad, if you're going to do it, we got to do it right. So we start waving, pretending we're in the parade too. So we just start doing it together. So we see the green beer. We get a glass of green beer and somebody takes the picture. It's like, yeah, that's awesome. The green beer tasted like shit. It was like watered down Coors Light, warm. Yeah, and it's $20 a pitcher.
Yep.
What I'm getting to what gets me geeked though. So I go into work Monday and my boss, I'm in 2 months into my job, I'm saying. I'm not my jack self. I'm keeping my head down. I'm just staying low. I'm very business savvy. I'm not being who I am. And my boss goes around, it's like, so what did everybody do this weekend? So I just was like, had a game night, hung out with my dad, nothing too unusual. She's like, uh-huh. I'm like, what's uh-huh? She's like, liar. So she slams down a piece of newspaper, slides it over to me. My dad and I are on the front page of the Post Standard.
Fuck
like,
yeah, hoser.
Oh, that's
Wow,
great.
they still make that?
Yeah,
Right.
they still make it.
In print?
Yeah, we're on Syracuse.com, Instagram, and I'm like, great. Now everybody knows I was at Green Beer Sunday, which is fine. But like I said, I'm keeping low profile. And the cherry on the Sunday, later in the day, it sizzled out. People are like, oh, good, you're in the paper. You're in the paper. I'm like, yeah, that's nice. 2 o'clock, I just was like, I have to go to the bathroom after work. I'm going to take a whiz in one of the stalls. The door comes bursting open like a wrestler in an entrance. Mike Humphrey, the CEO. He's like, oh, I hear you're in the Post Standard. The CEO of my company. I was like, oh, lovely. Good to meet you, sir. He's like, did you have a good Green Beer Sunday? I'm like, yeah, I did, sir. He's like, I've never been on the front page. You've been on the front page. I'm like, I have. He's like, let's frame that and put it in your cubicle. I'm like, whatever you want, sir. So I called my dad and he's like, that's awesome. We're on the front page. I was like, Dad, yeah, I know it's my first time. He's like, yeah, I've been on it 3 times.
I have a question, Jack.
What?
What's it like to meet your CEO for the first time with your dick in your hand?
I
the
hate making
first
small
time.
talk in the bathroom, man. It's just so awkward.
Small talk. Small talk. He
talk.
said it. He said it. Small talk.
But it's the worst. It's awful. It's just like, he's like CEO. I'm like, accounts receivable representative. Nice to meet you. So like, you're up here and I'm down here, but I don't know. It was fun to spend the afternoon with my dad and we were in the newspaper and that's what's got me geeked this week.
Did you say your dad was the mayor?
Yeah, so every time we go out, my dad, it's a saying. Like we call it the mayor. It's an old school saying. My dad knows everybody in Syracuse.
Oh,
We always used to play an over and under. My siblings, like 10 or under, like 9 and under. Like, how many will dad see when he goes out tonight? We were at Green Beer Sunday. I saw 16 people. My dad saw 25 people. So it was fun.
Very cool. All right, I guess it's my turn since we're, a man down. Mine's twofold. I'm geeked that we're back from the vacation. We had a really good vacation. We played it kind of low key. Didn't do any of the parks this time because I'm not paid like that. But we did some cool shit. Kev called me earlier. I told him about a few things. We hit Disney Springs. Did a little shopping, went to this chocolate factory called Chocolate Kingdom and did their tour, which was pretty neat. Stuff like that. Hit the pool a bunch of times, and because there's like 4 pools at this resort we go to, so we did all the pools and all the stuff, all the shopping, because the one weekend we had over the break of this thing, it poured rain the whole time. So Kristen was like, "Let's go shopping." So we went to, I think, pretty much every Marshalls and TJ Maxx in Orlando.
Ugh.
There's a lot. Just FYI.
Wait, you went to the same stores in different places?
Yep.
Oh.
She mapped out all of them.
I
Yeah.
can't do one. That's just awful.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I found
Aren't
every
there,
other
like,
place
unique
to go.
places down there.
There were, and I found a bunch of them. There's something called 511 Tactical, and I went and checked that place out. That was fun. Yeah,
What's in there? Yeah.
everything you can think of, like prepper stuff, like gun guy
pretty
stuff,
much
all this.
Pretty
yeah.
much the clothes I wear to work every day.
Basically, yeah.
Those are all 511 Tactical clothes.
Are they? Nice.
My pants and my shirts are all from there.
Nice. Well, that makes sense now.
You find
That's
the
a really
Kev-
cool store.
It's like the Kev line.
Fine.
See, okay, you don't have to be tactical. You don't have to be military. You don't have to be police to wear this stuff. You have to be an asshole like me who wears through freaking everything he ever has. This stuff is built well, and
Mhm.
it works well. It just works with you. It's freaking phenomenal gear.
It was really nice. And they had a lot of cool shit. They had a whole big case full of knives and shit. I almost bought a
Mhm.
butterfly knife, and I thought I kind of like having 10 fingers, so I didn't do it. So just for a fun little thing, I collected just a few non sequitur quotes that I gathered and remembered throughout the time. One might sound familiar to one of you guys at least. Buy all the things. Then there was 0 days without alcohol.
Mhm.
Then I overheard now send it to mom so she sees what she's missing. And my last and final one that I heard about 100 times in the span of an hour was I'm Sauce Gardner. It was a kid in
What's
the
that?
pool. Him and his family were playing catch with a football, and he kept yelling this out. I had no fucking idea what he was talking about.
Sauce
So-
Gardner?
He's the
Sauce
star.
Gardner.
He's the star cornerback for the New York Jets. His name
Yeah.
is Sauce Gardner, and he
Well,
actually,
his name is like Antonio or
Yeah.
something like that, but they call him Sauce. Yeah.
when he got drafted, he had a diamond around his neck, but he had hot sauce inside that. Okay, back to you.
Okay.
Now.
Well, good. At least I figured you or Corbs would be able to explain it, but I had to Google him. Like I had to
Yeah.
figure out what the fuck this kid was talking about.
He's good.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, he can't be that good if he plays for the Jets, but
He's a two-time All-Pro in only his first 2 years.
yeah, well, that I mean, these guys get paid to be professional sportsers.
Sports ball.
Yes.
Sports ball.
And the second thing is I'm excited about our first appearance of 2024 for Geek Pod, and that's going to be at Syracuse Collectors Con, March 16th and 17th. So yes, we're going to be at a con on St. Patrick's Day. So that is the Horticulture Building at the New York State Fair. Ton of guests. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up on this. They're doing a Power Rangers reunion there with
wow.
like 6 Power Rangers guests. They're doing a reunion from the original Ninja Turtles movies. 3 out of the
Wow.
4 guys that were in the suits are going to be there. As long as the girl that played April, the guy that played Shredder, the
Wow.
screenwriter, yep. Steve Orlando is going to be there. Pretty well acclaimed comics writer. Help me out with that one, Hugh. He's done
Yeah.
some stuff, right? Some voice actors, us, another podcast. Good friend of the show, artist Matt Flint will be there. He's doing the special edition comic book cover there. They're doing a Ninja Turtles cover, and you can only get it there. It looks really nice. So come on out and see us the 2 days. I've got something special that GeekPod's going to have there as well. So yeah, that none of you guys know about.
Oh yeah, no, I know all about it.
Don't, but it's been sitting in the office for months. But yeah, I think we'll have a good old time. They're doing panels, and did I mention there's a bunch of wrestling guests there as well. Both
wow.
both original members of Demolition, the wrestler formerly known as Victoria, Medusa, and Kayla Sparks, I believe, are all going to be there. So looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. A lot of our old friends from the con circuit will also be there. The guys from Funky Town Comics will be there, so we'll probably see Jeff Watkins. Yep. I believe Play the Game, Read the Story is sponsoring a tabletop gaming area. So Kev will have something to do. Yeah. Lots of cool stuff going to be there. Check out their page on Facebook, Syracuse Collectors Con. And he's been doing a really great job going over all the stuff they're going to have, all the different vendors. It sounds like they got some really unique stuff. They have some retro games going. Retro Game Con is also going to have an appearance there. So it should be a really cool time. Come out
in a con?
Yeah. Oh, I almost forgot.
That's an Incepticon, isn't it?
Incepticon.
Incepticon.
But again, with the show within a show, Sci-Fi Horror Fest is going to be making an appearance. Our good friend Tiffany Beth will be there, so we'll get to chill with her again. So, it should be a good old time. But that does it for me. That's basically, it was all plugs. So let's move it along, guys. What are you playing?
I got
Anybody?
one. Yeah, Hugh, do you usually go first?
You
Do
go ahead, you. Go ahead,
Okay.
you.
So I don't know if I did bring this up, or no, maybe I didn't, but I messaged you guys about this. And Kevin, did you follow my advice yet?
Okay, look. I did not buy the games because I have Paul's PS4 and he has all the games. So that's the only reason why I didn't buy them, is because I don't really have, I mean, okay, yeah, I could have probably kept them on whatever game platform or whatever, but I just I held back for monetary reasons and for the reasons, if I buy the game, I'm going to play the game.
So have you started them at least?
No,
Okay.
no.
Well, I will just say what I've been playing. I decided I needed to dive back into something I love. And I've tried to replay a few games recently and kind of not connected with them like I had in the past. I went back to the Arkham series, the Batman Arkham games, the 3 games by Rocksteady and the 1 game by, I think it's Warner Brothers Montreal or whatever. It doesn't matter. They are fantastic games. It's Arkham Origins, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. I am up to Arkham City now. I'm near the end of the game and just having a really good time. One thing I noticed now, I know that Arkham Knight is so good looking that it like holds its own against the best stuff that's coming out right now. It looks fantastic still. They just did an amazing job. But honestly, the older ones still hold up graphically and gameplay wise. Like if you told me that any one of those games, even the oldest one, Arkham Asylum, came out last year, I'd totally buy it. And a lot of that has to do with because of the world it's in, it doesn't necessarily need to be photorealistic. I mean, it still looks really good, but you're talking about a Gotham, inspired by, all the different versions we've had. Some are cartoony, some are dark and brooding, and a crazy cast of characters. It doesn't necessarily need to look like Death Stranding. So, uh, amazing, amazing games. Kevin, if you start these, you will plow through all 4 of them and you won't be able to stop because they
I
are
believe you.
ridiculously
believe you.
good. And it's funny because I expected going back to these, I would look at them with a different lens. I've beaten some current games, beat Elden Ring last year, things like that. I've stayed up with stuff, and I can't find a flaw. I can't find a place where I'm like, oh, this would be different if the game was made now. If they released those right now, I would buy them and be happy. If they released some DLC for them with no graphical improvements, I'd be happy. Everything about it is top notch. I did discover though that Kevin Conroy does not do the voice in Origins. Uh,
Really?
which is not the first game chronologically, but it's the first game, I should say release wise, but it is the first game chronologically. It's because they wanted a younger, angrier
Ah.
Batman and a younger sounding Joker because this is kind of when everything began, its origins. The funny thing is, I didn't figure that out until halfway through when I looked up to see, because I wondered, I know our friend JG Hertzler has played Deathstroke in some video games. I was like, oh, was he in this game? And I went to look it up and found out that they had 2. I'll tell you, Kevin Conroy is gone, but if they took the guy that played him in Arkham Origins, they could still, I mean, I can't tell the difference at
No
all.
kidding.
And Troy Baker does Joker in that game, and he's doing Mark Hamill's Joker. And yeah, they make a new movie, make a new game. No one's going to be able to tell the difference unless you tell them up front. But yeah, you can't go wrong here. If you're sleeping on this, Kevin, don't. Paul, have you played the games?
Like he said, I own them.
But that doesn't mean you've played them.
No, I
He hasn't
remember
played
I
them.
tried. What was
Yeah.
it? I went back and got the original for like 99 cents used
Oh my
for the
God.
PS3, and it was broken. Remember, I tried. That's where it started and ended.
Something that you might want to consider, Kevin, as well. With the exception of Asylum, because that is a smaller game because it takes place in Arkham Asylum, but it's still huge. It's not technically open world, but it kind of feels like it anyway. But it's not just fighting. It's gadgets, it's puzzles, it's detective work because you actually have to reconstruct crimes and figure out what happened and things like that. There's a detective mode, with his mask or whatever, and you see things differently. It'll highlight stuff, and you actually are controlling recreations of a crime scene, with fast forward and rewind, trying to figure stuff out. There's a lot to it, and it really encapsulated everything that you would expect being Batman in a fictional.
They
It's as
tried to
close.
do that with Gotham Knights too, but clearly you could tell they didn't put as much
Yeah.
effort into it. Yeah.
Well, it was kind of cool the other day. I couldn't find anything to watch on TV. I just went to YouTube and I typed in Arkham Asylum because, like Hugh, I played all the games all the way through twice, and I really just watched Arkham Asylum cutscenes. They put it together like it was a movie.
That's cool.
That was really nice.
Nice. Kev, do you want to go next, or you want me to jump in? Were you done first of all, Hugh? Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, just mine's quick. I'm still kind of poking at Palia. They just had a Lunar New Year event. It's still actually going on because they're waiting to push out the new update. Still in beta. And I wanted to throw out there that it's available in Epic Games, so the Epic Game Store, Steam Store, both on PC, obviously, and on the Switch. So yep. So Steam is new. It's they call it a cozy game. So it's very just relaxed. You can just kind of work through the day, and you can interact with the NPCs, and it's a very interesting thing. I never read the book. It's based on a book or a series of books. So if you know the stories, you kind of understand what the world is like. I don't know, but I really enjoy it, and I think I think I'll probably keep poking at it here and there, and it's just fun to drop in for a few minutes a day, or every other day, or 3 days, or whatever, and just kind of wander around, and kill some deer, or break some rocks, or harvest some garden stuff. It's
Nice.
It's just fun. It's just.
Are there any sauce gardens there?
I can make sauce in my kitchen.
Nice. Mine is a game that isn't out yet. I'd like to do an update on WWE 2K24. It's coming at us, I believe, next Monday. If as of date of recording, hopefully I'll be on time on this one and it won't come out a month later and they'll be like, wow, it's coming out in April. No. March 5th is release date for 2K24, but if you pre-ordered, I think the deluxe edition or whatever, you get the 3 days early access. So with it being so close, they finally released the entire roster, as well as all of the DLCs that they've got coming. And we got DLCs coming from May to November this time. Like they're stretching the release out. And you know what? There's something good in each one of them. I don't know if you looked this over, Hugh, or if you just kind of like, nah. I am 100% not surprised that the very first DLC that drops is going to have CM Punk in it. As soon as he signed, I knew that was something they were going to jam into the game. They had to. But there were a lot of legends because this is they're celebrating 40 years of WrestleMania with this edition. And so we're getting damn near all of the luminaries from what we consider the golden age of professional wrestling. No, Jack, not the Attitude Era.
No, we're talking about 80s and 70s.
But we're getting just about right. There might be a few missing, but
I noticed that because I was kind of hoping this was going to be like the ultimate roster, because every year there's somebody missing.
A glaring,
wasn't it Mick Foley last time?
Yes,
because he didn't have a Legends contract.
Yeah.
At the time, there's always somebody missing, and I wish I'd known you were going to bring this up because I would have looked over the roster again. There's some very notable omissions.
I mean,
but I
Brock
forget.
Lesnar.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like if you're going to release your ultimate game, not having him in there is kind of disingenuous, especially considering he's already done.
Yes, they had him in it. He was supposed to be on the cover.
Yeah, I understand why, and we're actually going to talk about that later, so I don't want to get too far into it.
Yeah,
but man, I feel like if this is the ultimate one, the WrestleMania one. How do you not have him in there,
Well,
regardless of what's going on?
especially when they're advertising it as being able to replay all the big matches, and now you don't have the match that ends the streak.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah,
I know there's some like no fly zone guys that you can't put in the games, like your Chris Benoit. Like he has been 100% disavowed. He has been written out of history, and I think it's happening to our boy Brock and somebody else who's quite important. But again, I don't want to ruin your story later,
But
so we're not going to
it
get into
seems
it.
to me like they could be like they're already in the game.
Yeah.
It's this
Yeah.
attitude, like nothing we can do. They're not in next year. But no, can you recall anybody that's not in there? Because there were some that I was just like, man, why aren't they there?
Are you talking like modern era or like Legends roster?
Legends roster.
Oh, God, I would have to look at it now because I wasn't expecting to go this deep into it either.
Okay.
Because I checked off the ones that were important to me. Like first thing I did, okay, where's Piper? Yep, he's there. Okay, so, and I mean you're getting. Yeah, God, the one thing I hate though that they are doing, and they're wasting roster spots on alternate editions of people. They've always done it, but
But
like,
there aren't roster spots. They can put in as
that's
many
true. You
as
can
they
do as
want.
much as you want.
Let's
Yes.
not pretend
Okay.
that there's some
You're absolutely
artificial
right.
limit
Yeah.
that's bullshit.
Yeah. But it's you know what I mean though.
Yeah.
Like why put in like Rock from 2020 and Rock from 1983
but
instead
you
of
see,
just reskin him?
Well, I get that because you want to have all the eras represented. I mean, using that logic, it'd be why are there three McFoleys? Well, because there were three McFoleys. There are several distinct Rocks. I mean, you got to look at him now and look at him back when he wore the shiny suit and that he had hair and the glasses. Yeah, there are some people that want to play that version. There's several versions of Hulk Hogan.
Yes. And I think we're getting the same thing with that. I think there's at least Hollywood Hogan and Hulkamania Hogan. So
I mean, really, there should be three. There should be old
early
school
80s?
Hulkamania, yeah, early 80s.
American made, yes.
Yeah.
I got you. You make a fair point on that. I'll concede that point to you.
I mean, you could even say there should be two versions of Jake the Snake because while nobody really thought he was all that impressive, the later version of Jake the Snake is the reason we have Austin 316. So
Yes.
he is an important part of that history. Without him, Steve Austin may not be the best merch seller of all time. Who knows?
No, you might still be the ringmaster.
Exactly.
All right.
Actually, real quick, I forgot to mention the game I was playing too.
Oh, we didn't let you in. That's what happened. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell, bro? Well, your games were
Go
also
ahead.
all your games are good compared to mine. So I
Good.
actually I've been trying the game Planet Zoo, which is kind of weird. It's on Steam. So it's a pretty the graphics are pretty remarkable. You just literally it's like The Sims basically with a zoo. But I've only played it once because I wanted to have monkeys in my zoo. And the monkeys broke out of the cages and they actually killed a lot of the people. So
Awesome.
I got shut down. So, but no, long story, but it's only a $40 game. No, it's a $10 game. But this is how they get you. The expansion packs, the DLCs, it's like $10 for this, $10 for this, $10 for this. It's like, oh my God. So literally my brother saw me playing it the other day. He's like, I'll get you a couple of the download packs. I'm like, awesome. He's like, yeah, that's all you're getting. Ever. But yeah, like it's a fun game, but it's just like I've only played it once, but they're like, yeah, your zoo is closed now for killing some of the people.
Outstanding.
But I'm not complaining.
I'm sure the dead people are. Well, they aren't, but their probably families are. Yeah.
Whatever.
All right. So I guess it's time to move it right along to Gav's tabletop review.
Okay, so what I have for you guys today is this really cool thing that I found on BoardGameGeek.com. Of course, I was looking around for something new and interesting and fun that I could bring to you guys, and I found this: the solitaire games on your table thread. So they do a different one every single month. So I'm looking at the one for February right now. Now, what I found was that there's another one for March that's just getting started. So they're just starting to add, I say these are the members on BoardGameGeek.com. They're the folks that participate in the community. They are adding games to this right now. But I want to show you what happened in February. So this group of folks, they get together, they add these games, and if I scroll down through this, it talks about a little bit of the guidelines about what you have to do or what the game has to meet, the kind of rules it has to meet, or the type of gameplay that it has to satisfy. And it has some resources where you can go to talk to other folks that are interested in solitaire games. Now, these are typically board games or card games or dice games that are meant for more than one player, but that are very, very easy to play single player, solitaire. And if I go down, I can start to see the games that they've suggested. And these are just the same sort of reviewed games that you will see throughout BoardGameGeek.com. The one that I picked today is this Deck of Wonders. Now, I of course, I looked at it and I said, well, this has got the right weight assigned to it, 1.64 out of 5. It's got some very interesting gameplay to it. You can look through the pictures to see how the game looks. It looks like a very interesting game. It's card based. Let's go back to the description of the game. Solo. This is designed to be solo. Apparently, this is 1 to 2 players. Community says 1. Best is 1. This is let's see. Solo first. Expandable card game with legacy elements. Captures the feel of games like Hearthstone and MTG. Help me out. What's MTG? I don't know what that is. Sorry. I guess I'm not as well versed on games as I thought I was. But
It's Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering. See, I knew it was something popular and I didn't know. It just makes me look like a moron, which is fine. You all know I'm a freaking moron. So there you go. The object of this game is to defeat the various villains that challenge you for the Deck of Wonders by turning their own spells and minions against them, while enlisting the support of magic creatures and powers of your own. Very, very interesting game. I have not played it, but by the description alone, I would like to check this game out. Card game, fantasy, mythology. This has all the right features to be the correct formula for exactly the sort of game you would want to learn quickly, get up to speed with very quickly, and enjoy by yourself or with a friend. This is just one of many games that you'll find in this list of solitaire games on your table. Very, very interesting stuff. There's so many resources here. This is the March list, and like I said, they're building the list right now. There's only a couple games on the list. Scythe, Star Wars Destiny, and there was one other, Midara. So those are all a little bit more difficult games. I didn't want to review any of those. I didn't want to look at any of those because they're a little bit outside of what I like to show for Geek Pod podcast. If you are more interested in a little bit more involved game, this one may be it for you. The Madeira Unintentional Malice. But I want to show you this. I took a look at this earlier. 4.11 out of 5. This is going to be a game you're going to have to spend some time with to get the nuances of, and it may be worth it for you. This may be exactly what you're looking for a solitaire tabletop gaming experience. I know there's at least one other person in our Geek Pod group that is very interested in solitaire games other than myself, and they may find this information very, very interesting. So if you get a chance, check out I'm going to show you again, solitaire games on your table on BoardGameGeek.com. This is something that I did not know existed. There is so many different nuances to this site that I just can't possibly cover them all at once or every single time we get together. My suggestion, take the time to get involved with the website and really dig in, because this is something that I found just recently. I think it's really cool, and I think there's a lot of people around that would think it's cool also. Oh, that didn't work. Why didn't that? I didn't change my camera. Oh well. It's supposed to change my camera. It's supposed to give you something cool to look at. But anyway, that's all right. Don't worry about it. Solitaire games on your table, boardgamegeek.com. I'm your friend Kev. Back to you, Paul.
All right.
All right. So I'm scrambling to get everybody back to where they belong for it. That sounds really cool. We're gonna have to check that out. And I think it's a perfect time to throw it to break, and we'll come back with the news. Stick with us, guys.
Syracuse Collectors Con, Central New York's premier pop culture show, taking place March 16th and 17th at the New York State Fairgrounds here in Syracuse, New York. And we have 20 celebrity guests, including wrestlers. We got Demolition, we got Medusa, we got Lisa Marie Varon, and local New York star Kayla Sparks will all be there signing autographs. But that's not all. We've got the original Ninja Turtles, we've got Power Rangers, we've got voice actors, we've got comic book artists, and we've got vendors. We've got over 70 vendors signed up for the show. It's March 16th and 17th at the New York State Fairgrounds in Syracuse, New York.
Looking for the hottest new comic on the shelf or a keyback issue to complete your run? How about that rare statue or action figure that you've scoured the internet looking for? Come to Collectibles Galore. Located in North Syracuse with ample off-street parking, Collectibles Galore has a huge selection of comics, toys, and rare pop culture items you won't find anywhere else. Comics Galore is always buying comics and toys and will give you the fairest price for your collection. New customers get 15% off their first purchase in store. Collectibles Galore for all of your pop culture needs. Stop in and see for yourself why Collectibles Galore is the king of comics.
Hi, this is Craig Palmer. If you ever aspire to be a wrestler, come on down to Upstate Wrestling Entertainment, located at 1121 Glenwood Avenue in Niles, New York. We're open every Tuesday and Thursday from 6:30 p.m. until 9 p.m. Come on down and join us. See you then.
Now, before you publicly suggest Satan is engineering Taylor Swift's marriage to Travis Kelce so she can give birth to the Antichrist and launch the apocalyptic 1,000-year war against Christ, it's like we're all being pranked. I keep looking for Ashton Kutcher to pop out from behind my newsfeed to tell me it's all a joke. Here's the news. First up, it's hobbling time. We've been gone for a few weeks, and man, did the McMahon hit the fan in the WWE. Let's catch up. The 2024 Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber are in the books. For me, the most surprising but not surprising thing was the in-ring return of Workers' Comp CM Punk. Punk entered the Rumble at 27 and promptly tore the same triceps muscle he tore in AEW and is now out to recover. He spent so much time on the shelf, he should be hanging out at my house during the month of December, causing mischief for my daughter to find each morning. I had thought that there was nothing more fragile than CM Punk's ego, but apparently there is, and it's the rest of actual CM Punk. But that's not nearly all of it. Vince McMahon resigned from the board of TKO after an indictment was filed against him for human trafficking, stating he had forced a former female employee to not only engage in sex acts with him, but he passed her around to others and used her feminine wiles to close deals. One of the most or more heinous accusations is that during the course of a threesome with her, he defecated on her head. Rich people. Maybe I'm boring in bed. How rich do you have to be to have to shit on someone's head to get turned on? Did he escalate to this, or did he jump right from nipple play to dookie drop? I will never have shit on someone's head money. I don't even want shit on someone's head money. I'd be happy with justify a second vehicle money. That would turn me on. That would make my nipples hard. In addendum to this story, apparently Brock Lesnar is implicated in this as well. Vince having sent him a video of the accuser, and he allegedly asked for more, including her pissing on herself. So apparently he is making piss yourself money. Fuck all you creepy weirdos. You need therapy. We need therapy after reading these accusations. The only bright spot is there's no coming back from this. Goodbye, Vince. It's been gross. Next up, The Internet is Angry Part 1. Brand new video game and future bargain bin filler, Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, has been making waves on social media for all the wrong reasons. It was already under fire for being a live service game, which is a fancy sounding name for a money grab. It also caused a stir when it went live on early access for folks who bought the premium edition and was immediately taken down due to a game-breaking bug. Basically, when you logged in, the game registered you as having beaten the game. As of today, those buyers received $20 of in-game currency to make up for the trouble, so basically nothing. But the biggest uproar has to do with the game's treatment of Batman. In this game, Batman is voiced by the late Kevin Conroy. This is his last video game performance before his death, and some thought his last performance ever. He plays the Arkham video game version of Batman, so this is supposedly the Batman from the Arkham games. As you can imagine, with a title like Kill the Justice League, it really isn't a spoiler to say he is killed by the Suicide Squad. Fans were outraged and felt this shit all over Kevin's legacy, or as I like to say now, McMahon all over his legacy. I get the hate, I do. This is my Batman too, but I think it makes sense to realize he signed on for this. He likely didn't know he was going to die and may have figured they would do another one to retcon this or something, whatever. It isn't like they decided to do this after his death. It's a sad coincidence, and even if it feels like bad taste, what else can they do? The game's not called Kill the Justice League except for Batman. Anyway, it turns out there are more animated projects to be released with his iconic voice, so we are near the end, but there is more to come. And finally, The Internet is Angry Part 2. In other DC news, Supergirl has been cast for James Gunn's upcoming reboot of the DC movie universe. Millie Alcock from HBO's House of the Dragon has been tapped to play the Maid of Steel. Now, remember how the internet got all mad and racist when Supergirl was a person of color in The Flash? They said Sasha Calle didn't look like Supergirl? Girl. Wow. Well, now we have a white and blonde Supergirl, and they are mad because her face is weird. I swear, they won't be happy until AI, Hitler, and Eva Braun play all the movie roles. Anyway, yes, Alcock has a unique look to her. Her and Bella Ramsey could probably be related, but she is by no means unattractive, which should not be the metric by which we measure an actress's talent to begin with. But it's the internet in 2024, so here we are. The expected McMahon storm over her casting is kind of gross and ridiculous, and proof that no one is ever happy about anything ever. We can't have nice things because we don't deserve them. Maybe the impending AI apocalypse will start over and be better. They can't be worse, can they? And that's the news, kids. Now, a word of advice. Don't be like Marjorie Taylor Greene, the everlasting gobstopper of stupidity. I've made so many jokes at her expense, she deserves an executive producer credit on this show now. This week, she was complaining on X about the judge in Donald Trump's fraud trial, Xing. This is what throws me, having to call them X's instead of tweet. She X'd Judge Engoron should be disrobed and thrown out. He's a disgrace. Disrobed and thrown out. I mean, I'm pretty sure that counts as sexual harassment or flirting. Either way, we don't need to know what you think about when playing with your Peachtree dish. This is why we have a 631% increase in syphilis and a pastor who believes meat-free foods change our DNA so we genetically no longer count as human and Jesus can't save us. I'm not even kidding. We are embarrassingly stupid. People like these draw the average down so far. There's really no point in keeping track of IQs anymore. This is the end of days. Let me paint a picture. The last human waits patiently while the final working Tesla self-driving Uber drops off their $72 Baconator and then watches the last broadcast from the 90 Day Fiancé Universe channel before said car gets taken over by AI and drives through their house, killing them, and any hope that humanity ever stood a chance. This is how it ends. Paul?
In other news, Black Eyed Peas are actually beans and a shitty hip-hop group. Back to you, Little Corbs.
Fuck off. Tesla's fun fact have fart mode. So, all right. So
Fart mode.
they
Okay.
do have fart mode. I've been in 3 Teslas and there was 3 different farts in fart mode. It's pretty awesome.
Are you sure that wasn't just the driver? Maybe he had some black-eyed peas.
He could have 2
Look at that
farts.
timing right together.
I love it. All right, so let's do some trivia. Corbs isn't here, and Kev just disappeared.
Well, the power issues is they got him.
Yeah.
That's what he messaged us.
Gotcha. So between you two, we can do 2 trivia questions apiece.
Oh, fucking hooray.
Oh,
Yay
hooray! All right, Hugh, go ahead.
2, or should I call that McMahon?
Ooh. Who did Vince McMahon? No, I'm just kidding. In what year did the internet become public?
I have no idea.
I know this is the good one.
Okay, early 90s, I was using the internet. 1991.
You're close.
Okay, well, I mean, 92,
No.
93.
93.
Paul said 93. You
I
would
was
know that. You're
sort of
right.
just throwing something up.
Very good though. That was awesome. Go ahead, Paul.
Number 3, just to make sure that our favorite numbers don't get stolen by each other.
Okay. Vince McMahon. Sorry, not Vince McMahon again. What is the highest grossing R-rated movie in North America?
Oh, I feel like I should know that.
This is a good one. I got it on the 3rd try. I was very impressed.
I feel like this was something that happened recently too.
No.
No? Okay. Highest grossing R-rated movie in North America. I'm going to say Pulp Fiction.
No. Good guess. Do you want to take some guesses, Hugh?
He's
I
like, no.
don't. Yeah, I
Do
don't know.
you want to take one more guess, Paul?
The Crow.
No. This one I saw when I was very young. The Passion of Christ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is that what happened to you?
Right.
Nobody knows what happened to me.
That explains a lot.
I just found out I'm adopted.
I believe it.
I still don't.
If your sister and you weren't freaking spitting images of each other,
one time you met her and you got that? That's
Yes.
pretty. That's kind of creepy. Yeah, that's kind of yeah. All right, Hugh, 1 or 4?
1.
Originally, Amazon was known for what? The website Amazon.
Books. Wasn't it just books?
Yeah, very good. Very good. All right.
that
Paul.
leaves me number 4. I was going to say Rainforest.
No.
I mean, originally, yeah, he's got kind of a point.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is the only country to play in the World Cup in soccer? So which country is the only country that's played in every single World Cup? You're like, great, I got the soccer one.
Germany.
No.
I don't know. Nigeria.
Brazil.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Those little monkeys can kick. So
Those little monkey. Oh my God. Jesus. All right. To all our friends out in Brazil. Jesus Christ.
we lost our one Brazilian listener. We're done.
Hugh and I are just like, holy hell. I know you're doing your inner Randall, but I'm gonna say what Randall says in Clerks 2 in your head, but I'm not gonna say it out loud right now.
I'm just surprised you'd say something that racist.
Wow, Paul. No, I'm not surprised.
So to finish it for you, Jack, it's okay. I'm taking it back.
So that, you know, well played.
Did you say that just so you could do that?
So I could, yes.
No one's gonna care. They're only gonna quote the first part.
Right, because the other half doesn't factor in at all. So
it's okay. People out in Geek Potty's taking it back. So
this is where I turn around and the work shirt has it on the back. I'm taking it back. Or no, it was.
It
for
says
life.
it says for
For
life.
life. Yeah. I won't even go that far to say what it was.
Okay, just wrapping this topic up, then back to you. In 1961, the Peace Corps was created by John F. Kennedy. For Corbs, some sports stuff. In
He's not
19,
here. Pass.
I
No, I'm
know,
just
but
kidding.
in 1980, Gordie Howe, a famous NHL player, had scored over 800 goals in his career, which is pretty cool. And then actually, this is another Corbs thing that he would like. In 1983, the final episode of MASH premiered, and over 10 million people viewed the episode in 1983, which is pretty cool. And then some famous birthdays. Jason Aldean, country music star, is 47. Actor John Turturro is 67. And Burnett Peters is 76 years old.
And so is her twin sister, Bernadette Peters.
That's what I said, Bernadette Peters.
Oh, I got a blip in it and I heard Burnett.
Back to you for life, Paul.
All right. So, damn, it's too bad he got blipped out on us because our weekly topic is what is your favorite / go-to quote from a movie?
Come on.
Man, I really need to get these ahead of time.
I mean, if you looked at the spreadsheet Kev makes up, you'd have
I
it.
don't
So
know
did-
how to access that.
So did Kev come up with this?
No, I came up with it, but he's
Oh.
the one that made these spreadsheets for us in the drive.
Oh.
But the guys will answer that when we return.
Hi, this is Craig Palmer. If you ever aspire to be a wrestler, come on down to Upstate Wrestling Entertainment, located at 1121 Glenwood Avenue in Nottingham, New York. We're open every Tuesday and Thursday from 6:30 p.m. until 9 p.m. Come on down and join us. See you then.
Syracuse Collectors Con, Central New York's premier pop culture show, taking place March 16th and 17th at the New York State Fairgrounds here in Syracuse, New York. And we have 20 celebrity guests, including wrestlers. We got Demolition, we got Medusa, we got Lisa Marie Varon, and local New York star Kayla Sparks will all be there signing autographs. But that's not all. We've got the original Ninja Turtles. We've got Power Rangers, we've got voice actors, we've got comic book artists, and we've got vendors. We've got over 70 vendors signed up for the show. It's March 16th and 17th at the New York State Fairgrounds in Syracuse, New York.
Looking for the hottest new comic on the shelf or a key back issue to complete your run? How about that rare statue or action figure that you've scoured the internet looking for? Come to Collectibles Galore, located in North Syracuse with ample off-street parking. Collectibles Galore has a huge selection of comics, toys, and rare pop culture items you won't find anywhere else. Comics Galore is always buying comics and toys and will give you the fairest price for your collection. New customers get 15% off their first purchase in store. Collectibles Galore for all of your pop culture needs. Stop in and see for yourself why Collectibles Galore is the king of comics. And that sound means it's time for the weekly topic. Let me reiterate. What, gentlemen, is your favorite quote or a go-to quote that you use from a movie? Jack, go.
So my brother and I always debate about this back and forth. He calls it the worst movie of all time. I call it the best movie of all time.
Showgirls.
Good movie.
No.
You'd be lying if you say you didn't like it a little bit. A little
Not
bit.
even a little.
A little bit. Okay. Okay.
There is a line where boobs can't make a movie watchable, and
that's
is,
it. Yeah.
It's just like Jesse Spano. That's all you think of the whole time. Okay, all right. So, like I said, my brother calls it the worst movie. I call it the best movie. I gotta pay. I guess there are enough rocks. I like Forrest Gump. Like, come on, Forrest Gump is just like one of the best movies of all time.
And it is a very quotable movie.
It's a very quotable movie. You can do the life is like a box of chocolates, but like, no, the quote I would say that I would say more often than not is like when he shakes JFK's hand, he's the all-American. He's like, so how do you fail? I gotta pay. I gotta pay. Because he had about like 24 Dr. Peppers.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That literally my brother texted me the other day. He's like, see, it's the worst movie of all time. They literally said the Antichrist, the worst movie villain of all time is Jenny from Forrest Gump. I'm like, holy shit.
She's a pretty fucking awful person.
She leaves him
really
AIDS.
Watch that.
She does leave him AIDS, yeah, but like I said though, I would say that I gotta pay from Forrest Gump. He's here about like 24 Dr. Peppers.
What?
Yep. That's all I got.
And I disagree with both of you. I definitely disagree with your brother that it's the worst movie of all time, but I don't think it's the best movie either. Hugh, you ready or you want me to go?
Oh, fine. There's so many movies I like, but if I had to think of something that I sometimes actually say in real life, it would be, give me some sugar, baby.
Nice. That's a good one too.
Classic.
All right. So it is not going to be the line that we referenced before the break, but it is from the same film and by the same character / actor, and that would be, I hate everyone and everything seems stupid to me.
Hell, he could be a guy's name too. Hey.
So we seem to be on a cadence here where like every third, or I should say out of like, an entire month's worth of these weekly topics, you actually managed to only insert a Clerks reference into one of them.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Moving away from that is a good thing.
Those are rookie numbers. I got to bump those up. There you go. There's a Jerry Maguire reference for you.
Show me the money. We can make this into a drinking game. Every time he does like a Clerks reference, every time Jack goes off topic, every time Hugh does like something with the news, every time Kev says he's your friend.
Non-alcoholic beer is too expensive for me to do a drinking game with. Every time Hugh does a news thing,
I know. I gotta think of something better for you. Like Kev says he's your friend. Corbs goes silent. Every time
Kev said he was my friend once off camera before we started recording tonight. It's the only time he has ever fucking said that.
It must have been before I caught on.
Yes, because I was telling him about my brother dying. So he decided, oh, he's got a dying family member. I'll say something nice to him for once.
He was pretty glowy tonight. He was shimmering.
And he's not here to hear you say that. That's
such
a tragedy.
I know.
She didn't say he was sparkling.
Freckles.
So let's move this thing along / bring it home. Guys, what you been watching?
I have something really interesting. And I need to pull up my notes, which I fucking closed like a dipshit.
Sorry.
Okay, so we did finish True Detective. And then we got to watch True Detective Night Country, the new one. It was interesting because a lot of people are complaining about the new one, saying, oh, it's not like there's a supernatural, there's all these other complaints. We fucking loved it. It's our favorite season of the entire show. We thought it was fantastic. Really enjoyed watching that. I've been watching Constellation from Apple TV, which is also really good. Interesting, not sure where it's going. I guess kind of need to wait and see what the story actually is, because it's one of those mystery things where you don't really know what's going on until about 4 episodes in. But the big one I wanted to talk about is I watched a documentary called Dear Zachary, a letter to a son about his father. Have either of you heard of this before?
Sounds interesting already.
Okay. I don't want to give away too much, but what happened was I stumbled upon a list of really disturbing documentaries. What I was looking for was stuff that was, disturbing stories, like really good true crime stuff, I ended up getting this list, and this was weird because people are putting shit like Cannibal Holocaust and stuff on this list, like disturbing, gory shit. This is not that. And there is a gut punch moment in this movie that will have you reeling. It's a true story, and it's about a guy who is killed by his crazy girlfriend, and his best friend starts a not just cross country but worldwide um, trip to gather video of all of his dead friends talking about him because the girlfriend is pregnant with his kid, and he wants to be able to show the boy, Zachary, what his dad was like. Because this guy was a pretty fucking remarkable person and loved by people all over the world. And just, I mean, that was in itself was a huge tragedy, but it's a really cool concept. But it is one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen.
Wow.
And it's the story I've told you is not the disturbing part. I'm just saying you have to watch this with zero. The less you know about it, the better. But it was a powerful, powerful piece of cinema.
What platform is it on?
I don't even know. Google search it.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah. Dear Zachary, a letter to a son about his father. Amazing, amazing documentary.
Okay.
Interesting.
Wow.
And I think that's all I got.
All right. Jack.
So yeah, we haven't recorded in a month. So I would say what I watched, finally got around to watching Oppenheimer. That was actually really good.
I haven't watched that yet.
3 hours long, but whatever Christopher Nolan usually touches, it's like he turns it into a masterpiece. It's 3 hours, like I said, it's 3 hours long, but it's like yes, Cillian Murphy, like he definitely deserves Best Actor for this. This was
He deserved Best Actor for 28 Days Later.
He was, but no, like the way this was done, it was actually the one that was sold the movie was Robert Downey Jr. He played the senator. He was really good. But you had Robert Downey Jr. in this movie. You had Matt Damon, Casey Affleck, Rami Malek even made a cameo at one point. So this is an all-star cast, and Josh Peck, the Nickelodeon star, is in this movie. So it's like, oh my God. So this was a very well done movie. And it's actually pretty factual too, because after I see a history movie because I'm weird about that stuff. I love my history. I fact checked a lot of things, and Christopher Nolan really kept it intact because one of the things that did happen, this doesn't spoil anything, but he actually met with President Truman, Harry Truman, and he literally looked at Harry Truman, Oppenheimer, and was like, I have blood on my hands for what I did. Like it's just very upsetting for what I had to do. Literally, Harry Truman said these exact words to him next. It was like, get that crybaby scientist out of my office. I have no time for him. So it's pretty well done, this movie. This was very, very, very good.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan is known for being very accurate and historical when it comes to his movies, like Batman Begins.
Yes, very true. That one, and I usually let a show like I watch a little bit at a time, but I watch it from start to finish because it wasn't very long, was Ted Lasso. So that was actually a pretty good show. That was on Apple TV. My friend gave me his Apple account, and you think you're watching a nice
to say that.
yeah, you're watching a nice comedy with Jason Sudeikis about him taking over a soccer team while an ex-wife takes over her ex-husband's soccer team and tries to run into the ground. But as it gets into there's only 3 seasons, but the show unpacks itself. The characters are just so well done. Like Jason Sudeikis' character is this funny, outgoing Division II football coach that comes to England and all that. You're like, oh, I'm laughing with him. I'm laughing with him. But you kind of realize why he went over to England and all that. So it gets more serious a little bit, which is pretty interesting. And each character is very well done. The show wraps up very nice. And I really, really enjoyed that one. That was really, really good. And I'm surprised, Hugh, you didn't mention this one, the last one I got. My dad watched this on Sunday, and he's like, if you want to start watching it together again, we can. I'm like, do we have to? And I watched the first episode with him on Monday night, and I was like, fuck, I'm hooked. The Walking Dead, the one who lived.
Oh yeah, I did
Yeah.
watch that.
Wow.
I haven't watched that yet.
Wow.
Well, the whole
Yeah.
vacation thing.
Wow.
I know Corbs wanted to talk about that tonight too.
That was very, very good. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow, it finally continues the story. What we
Yeah, I'm reserving my judgment until we get a little further into it, but that was a well done episode, and it had a lot to unpack because this is something that was supposed to be a trilogy of movies that should have been made like 5 or 6 years ago. And I mean, you could do an entire 6-episode series about all the shit that leads up to the shit the story's actually about, because there's just so much, because now you have to explain. And in the big one, and they do a good job of it, the big one is, Rick Grimes would never just give up on his family, but he's been gone for we know, because we have shows that are in the future. He's been gone a really long fucking time, and they kind of need to explain that and why he hasn't escaped and come back, because he's not just in a jail cell. And they did a good job of that, I think. Shocker at the end of the episode, shocker at the beginning of the episode, for fuck's sake.
That was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I'm not. Yeah, we're not going to
yeah.
spoil it for you.
But
Yeah,
But
please
like,
don't.
but it would be really cool though. Like, I haven't seen the Maggie and Negan one, and I gave up on Fear the Walking Dead, which after they killed Carl off, the show really, honestly, it just really wasn't great anymore. But
did you
I
watch it all the way through?
all the way through? Yes, from start to finish, from 2010 to all the way to the end of the show. But what would be really cool, like I was telling this to my dad, if they take these spin-off shows and then wrap it up to the original show, which I don't think they'll do, but they can wrap it. Could they just wrap it all up together?
Well, the showrunner has said, that's a really interesting idea. He's talked about that
Oh, has
publicly.
he? Okay.
Yeah, and you also have to remember, and if you had watched, like if you haven't seen Daryl Dixon, you haven't watched that?
No.
Okay. There's a point in Daryl Dixon where he does get a radio signal back to the Commonwealth briefly, and Carol says somebody's back, but we don't know who, because it's cutting out. They're definitely laying the seeds for everything to come full circle in some way. The blockers right now are that both Dead City and Daryl Dixon are in the middle of a story going into their second seasons. So like we got through almost all of them because we've been watching it with Avery, and she wanted to watch The Ones Who Live in real time with us. And we hadn't gotten to Daryl Dixon yet. And I'm like, you know what? It's probably fine, because there's no way he can show up in this story, because he's in the middle of one right now. He has to complete. He's in fucking France right now. And Negan and Maggie are in New York City. So they have to finish their story before they can circle back. Dude, come on. You whine to get in, whine to get out. Pick a fucking lane. I absolutely can see them doing that. Because here's the thing. A lot of people think The Walking Dead is dead. It's not. AMC's invested a lot of money in it, and they have Scott Gimple trying to do something. Now, they wanted to do bigger things, but I think that the pandemic and, the financial stuff and everything is hit them hard, but they don't seem to be letting go of it. It's helped in a few ways. Dead City was good. I have some issues with Maggie's portrayal, but it was good. Daryl Dixon was fucking fantastic, and some of the best shit they've done in years. And The Ones Who Live look like they're going to follow suit. The blocker I see to them bringing this all back is that once they do that, the franchise is over. Do they want to do some more spin-offs? Because they should really end with that. And I don't know that Gimple's quite ready to give up this universe yet. I don't think so. I think we're going to get there, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen. But I think it's going to be either it's a longer wait than we expect, or it's because it would suddenly there'd be no Walking Dead on TV ever. It'd be gone. It'd be done. It's kind of hard to imagine.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because he was talking. I mean, he was like, in season 10, he was on The Talking Dead or whatever. He's like, yeah, I could see this going, for another 10 years, season 20, and then the next year the show's ending. Clearly they want to do more of this.
Then maybe go ahead.
And they haven't. Fear the Walking Dead's an outlier. Technically, they haven't milked the franchise until it's a dead horse, because they're actually putting out some of the best stuff that they've done now. I have a feeling that AMC, because they're going to want their money, they're going to ruin the franchise before they end it.
Right. I agree. Yeah. Okay. They are going to drive it into the ground, squeeze every dollar they can out of that beforehand. Yeah.
And, they would have been there already if they hadn't made such great stuff after the main show ended. And that's kind of putting a stop to that.
Maybe when they're officially done with the whole thing, they can finally follow suit how the graphic novel ended. Even though Carl is the one how they ended, they can do old woman Judith telling stories about her father and Daryl's story. I don't know.
No. Here's the thing. We don't get that ending now, and if they do that ending, it's going to piss me off. And the big reason is there is a thematic reason that ending happened. Rick dying in the comic is what catapulted them to have the society at the end where Carl's older and has a family and everything. He is a hero. I think there's a statue of him somewhere. That didn't happen. And I feel without his death being what makes everything better and makes everyone stop fighting, that ending makes no sense because he ends the comic reading a book about his dad to his daughter about the hero Rick Grimes. I can't, you can't slot Judith into that place or into that spot without Rick coming back to the main show for a long period of time. To first of all, because if he came back and died right now in one episode, everyone in the Commonwealth would be like, "Who the fuck is Rick Grimes? Who's that
Right.
scraggy guy that just died? He hasn't earned it."
Right.
And do we really need that after all the death we've had? I don't necessarily need to see Rick die. I didn't like the comic book ending, even though it made sense. I don't want to see it on TV.
Interesting. What about you, Paul? What are you watching?
Well, unlike most weeks, I actually have a list of things that I got to watch because, you know, I did some time on a few airplanes. So on the airplane, my track record stands. The first thing I watched was Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Gal Gadot was in it. It's about all I have positive to say about it.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't great. I mean, it had some moments, but it all around was bad. I wish I could have disappeared like that. But then I did get to watch both John Wick 2 and John Wick 3.
Okay.
That series is fucking phenomenal. I love that series. And now I've just gotta wait until 4 comes on the plane and I'll watch that one too. But we also did catch up on a little bit of TV since coming back. We finished Loki season 2 finally. I didn't realize I was 2 episodes behind still. I thought we finished it. That ending was pretty fucking cool. Gave them the opportunity to write Jonathan Majors out the way they needed to because of everything that's going on. I like the reference to Kang in it, if you remember. Excuse me. And then just tonight, before we started recording, finally watched the first episode of Echo. Did you guys watch that?
Yes.
No. Any good?
It was great, and the fact that we got like a Netflix Daredevil in it was fucking awesome. That I didn't know about.
And you know, did you notice that fight scene was all one take?
Yes, I did catch that, and I like that. I like the homage back too. The other one, wow, I screwed up our notes really bad. Let me see. That's all I had for my stuff, though. It seemed like there was something else I watched. I did notice Interview with the Vampire's back.
Is it back or coming back? I don't think it's back yet.
I've got 2 episodes recorded on my DVR. I haven't looked to see what they were, but I noticed them the other night when I was cleaning up the DVR because we were like 96% from being gone.
Jesus, I thought that wasn't coming back till May. Here, let's find out really quick.
Unless they replayed something, or maybe it was like I don't know, because I didn't check to see what it was.
There's definitely teasers. They announced the premiere date recently, and of course I've got this fucking thing in front of me. Premiere is Sunday, May 12th.
Okay, so they had to be teasers or recaps or something that recorded on me. And I caught the first episode of WWE biographies about Randy Orton. And wow, did he practically do everything he could to derail his own career, huh?
You know, I forgot that was on. I'm gonna have to go back and check.
I want to watch this coming weeks. That's Sergeant Slaughter. So,
since you have a close personal relationship and pictures of him hugging you,
choking you, mainly
abusing me, yes.
Yeah.
But that's all I've got. I think that brings us right to the end of the show, there, gentlemen.
End of the show.
Wow, we're ending early.
I mean, yeah.
It's almost like you don't want to be here. It's almost like we all don't want to be here.
I love doing this and I missed it, but I also don't mind looking at the clock and seeing that we're going to get out almost an hour early. That's always good too.
That is nice. But do you not want to? Don't drop your nuggets yet, or?
I mean, that's how we end the show. Yeah.
Okay, if you gotta drop them.
That just makes it sound dirtier than Corbs does.
Yeah, I know.
I know that's what I was going for.
That's perfect. I've never owned a telescope in my life, but it's something I'm considering looking into. Good night,
Oh.
everybody, and megabyte me, bitches.
This has been a GeekPod Network production.